So we'll perform this exercise in which we'll be creating two VMs, VM1 and VM2. VM1 will be having hostname as controlnode.example.com and VM2 will have the hostname as managenode.example.com. In my case, the IP address is static. I'll be using 13 and 14. For you, it may be via DHCP. Okay. If you also have static, you can use the IP address as per your range. Okay. Then we'll be setting the host name. We'll make an entry in /etc host, and we'll configure the passwordless SSH between two VMs. So these are the important steps. So I have cloned this control node and manage node using a VM which I always use. I'll start both the VMs and I'll configure the static IP address first for both. But remember, you use the proper naming convention, and remember the IP address which you give to control and manage node, and also the host name. Control node is ready. Let's give it a static IP address. So if you remember, when I do sudo su, it is asking me for the password. Okay, but in this configuration, we need to make sure that it should not ask the password. For that also, we have something. I'll discuss that. So for making it static, I'll just modify this file netplan. I'll make it 13.13. I'll do netplan apply. I'll also set the hostname ctl set hostname control node dot example.com. Okay, so the hostname is done. Also check the IP. Okay, it has the IP 1.13. Now let's log in on the other manage node as well. Here we'll set the IP address as 1.14 net plan for net plan apply. IPA, that's 1.14. Let's set the host name as well. Host name ctl set host name managed node dot example dot com. It's the host name. Okay, and let's check the IP address as well. Okay, so this is done. The next steps will perform directly from the mobile extern. You can also use putty if you want. So that's the 13 number and 14. I'll access both control and manage node from mobile extern. Okay, so this is important. So I'm doing sudo su. Okay, and when I run any sudo command in Ansible, okay, when we are configuring Ansible and we'll be running the using this username only. Okay, so it should not ask me for this password. Okay, so what we need to do, especially on the control node, but we'll do it on both the nodes. It's necessary on the control only the manage node, but we'll do it on both. So what we need to do is, why it's asking for password even though it's in sudo. So if you do sudo vi sudo, if you see my user is not added at all in the sudo, or still I can run the sudo commands. Why? If you see slash etc group, okay, and just group grep my username. So this user is part of sudo group. Okay, and again, if you open the sudo vi sudo file, and if you go down, so there is a group called sudo which has all the access. As I am part of sudo, okay, I can run any commands, okay, as a sudo users, but I need to provide the password. Okay, so in order to not enter the password, either we can add no pass wd here all. Okay, that is one of the solution, or create one more user here and give it the permission of all, but you need to remove that user from sudo group as well. Okay, so same thing we will be doing. So what we will do is, first we'll make an entry in sudoers. Okay, this entry you should make first before removing it, otherwise we can't run any other commands. You'll have to do almost reinstallation or password reset. So first add this, okay, pass wd, and without this Ansible will not run properly. Okay, so it needs a user. It can be any user. Okay, in this case we'll use the default user. It has the uh, no password wd, means it can run the sudo commands without any entering any password. Okay, but even though I added this, it will still ask me for the password because it is still part of a sudo group. Okay, and in sudo group it's not using no pass wd. So the command is also given here. So what is the command? Del user from a group. So del user command will delete a user from a group. Del user username from this group. Okay, this is not removing the user, it is removing only the user from the group. So now if I again check, okay, my username is not a part of any sudo group. Okay, and still I can perform sudo permissions. So make the same changes in other node as well. So via sudo.
By default, it won't add, right?
No, it won't add. By default, it is added in sudo group.
Or you added, okay.
No, I didn't add. It was added at the time of installation in the sudo group.
Oh, by default, add, okay. So all the user will be getting this adding to sudo group.
No, only at the time of installation. The user which we gave at the time of installation, only that user.
Okay.
Okay, so now I made an entry that I will use this user without any password. So actually, I had not given this in the notes, okay, and many students faced the problem that the scripts were not running. So explicitly I need to explain it why it is happening like. So now I'll just remove the user as well. It's still in the sudo group. Just remove it. Okay. Again, I'm saying don't remove it until and unless you make an entry in sudoers. Okay, this entry should be there, otherwise you can't run any command. So first I made an entry, then I removed the user. Now let's cross check it. If I do sudo su, it won't ask me for the password. That means it's working fine. Okay. It's required only on manage node, but we'll do it on both the nodes. Okay, now if I do sudo su, it is not asking me for the password. So next what we need to do is on both the systems, let's add an entry in slash etc host. So we went a bit down. So this we have done. We just need to make this entry. You just change the IP address as per your system IP addresses. VIM slash etc host and remove this line. This is not required. Okay, so I have two entries here on manage node. Let's add the same entries on control node as well. Control node, manage node. Let's check it. We can ping without IP address. Control node pinging itself and the manage node. Okay, so it will also work here. Ping control node, manage node. Okay, so our prerequisites are met. Everything is fine. One more thing is left, that is passwordless SSH. So if I now do SSH to 192.168.1.14, it is asking me for the password. Okay, I can also do SSH using host name. Now as we have entry in slash etc host control node. Okay, but it is asking for the password. So when we need to achieve automation, it should not ask for password. Okay, so we will not run manually. Okay, but this username will be used for doing all the automation. When the Ansible playbook runs, okay, it will try to access the other system without any password. Okay, so as it should not prompt for the entering the password, we'll have to make some changes. That is, we need to create passwordless SSH between control node and the manage node, because from control node we'll be managing the manage node. So for that what we need to do is, let's check if in .ssh we have the public key. We do not have. Okay, we have only the authorized key. Okay, so we need to create a combination of public and private key. So for that the command would be ssh keygen -t rsa, and we'll just press enter. We won't enter anything, just cross check the keys are created. This is the private key and this is the public key. Okay, so what we need to do is we just need to copy the public key from control node on the manage node, but copy it in the username, same username. If you are using directly root, then the copy the root only, but the username should be same. In short, ssh authorized keys. Okay, it is empty. Let's append it. Let's have an habit of using appending rather than overwriting with single one. If there is already a key, it will get overwritten. That's why just use this one. Now I have added the key of the control node on the manage node, and now if I do SSH, it will not ask me for the password. Okay, it logged in without any password. This is what we want. Now actually our prerequisites are met. Okay. Now let's start the installation. Installation takes a bit time. Okay. So what we are doing is we are doing first installation, and after doing the installation it will install one of the oldest version, okay, but the default one which the OS supports. Then we'll update it. So both the steps are given here. And why we need the updated one? Because the some of the documentation which is latest, it needs the latest version. So just do the installation of Ansible only on the control node, not on the manage node. Okay. On manage node, we just need the passwordless SSH connection. That's why it is called as agentless.
You generate the key from master node, is it?
Only on
Manage.
master node. Yeah, I generated on the master node called as control node
Uh-huh.
and copied the public key from the control node on the manage node.
So in the production environment, so generate the public key and share to all these
Servers.
servers.
So
Okay.
what we do is we will create a template, right? In VMware, we can create a template. In the
Hmm.
template, we can copy that
Push.
key. Yeah,
Uh,
and that same template will be always used.
oh, okay, okay.
So this is one of the steps, but it all depends on how you plan it. If you don't plan it, then you'll have to manually enter this on all the servers. If you
All
do
the
not
servers.
do yeah,
So like create one service ID, that service ID is created.
yes, you can say service ID, correct.
Hmm.
There is a very nice tool from Packer as well, which is also used to create means AMIs. You know AMIs, right? Amazon Machine Images and all such type of images. Means it can create any type of image. That is also a very good tool from HashiCorp. HashiCorp.
So normally public key is hold for master server and the reverse order, but this one is reverse order, right?
What reverse order?
You are generating public key on that master node and then share to client.
Yes, right. Because from my master node, I need to connect the client
Hmm.
passwordless.
Hmm.
So same approach we used that day as well, right? From our Terraform system, we copied our key,
Yes.
public key, to
Hmm.
the remote EC2 instance, and we were used to passwordless SSH. Okay, so if you see Ansible is installed, okay, Ansible hyphen version, and it is using 2.9, okay, 2.9.6, but we need the latest one. For installing latest one, we'll be using these commands. So by default, the latest version is not available. So what we will do is will install one repository. This is the repository PPA, which has the latest version of Ansible. Okay. So we can directly do this as well. Okay, but I wanted to explain that it is also possible to have basic Ansible, the older version. Then later on we can update it. Okay, so only one command it took, I guess.
Ansible bundle with Ubuntu, no? Or
The bundle one is the oldest one.
old test one, okay.
Not it's not, actually not bundle, but whenever we use the default repositories of
Model.
Ansible, that will have the oldest one. That's why we added the other repository, this PPA,
Okay.
that will have the latest one. And it is also as Ansible is Python based. There is a command called pip install. Using pip also we can use Ansible, but it's better to use these commands. It will have a proper entry with the path and all that pip will not have. For pip, when you use pip, we'll have to manually add it in a path and all. So it will take some time.
And we talk to all other client, right? It's not only for Linux, right?
It talks to Windows as well,
That,
but we,
mm-hmm.
for that some win something
WinRR
command has.
is okay.
Yeah, yeah. But I think performance is not so good, okay, as compared to Linux to Linux.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah. So if you see now Ansible hyphen version, it shows 2.12.10. Okay. So that's all about the installation.